Ashtavakragita, chapter 5, verse 3. The universe, being manifested like the snake in the rope, does not exist in you who are pure. Though it is present to the senses, because it is unreal. Thus, verily do you enter into dissolution. Now, the sage has given this example of the manifestation of the snake in the rope many a times in the previous verses, where we have understood at the context of those examples with the words that he was explaining, and today I see a different angle to it. In case if you have not gone through those verses, the playlist link for all the verses has been added in the description, so you can go through them. Here the sage has become more direct, right? And he's telling us to see how we are seeing this world, and just to do a flashback on this example, we kind of know it's in our DNA, or we can say that it's in our instincts, that when we say anything like snake, be it rope, be it a cloth, if it is in the form of snake, the first instinct that we get is, oh, is it a snake? Right? It's the fear that is inbuilt in humans, right? But it's on the contrary, it's not true. It's not actually snake. It might be a rope, it might be a wire, or anything of that sort. It's not snake. Many times it happens, but it would not be a snake, right? So let's take this example, and in parallel, let's see how we are seeing this world. So in this world, normally, like in our day-to-day life, when we are seeing this world, we take the references, right? So if we do not have that references, we do not have any such kind of, I want to be that, or I want to go there, I want to reach there, right? The sage is telling us to look at these references. Like, say, I have a friend who is very rich, okay, and I'm having a feeling that, okay, if I am rich, then I might be happy, correct? And the sage is telling us to look at this, and he's saying that it might be the happiness that would be present for the senses, the 5 senses. Yes, it might be happy for it, but are we just those senses? Are we just the 5 senses? When sage is talking about seeing, he is talking about the highest of the seeing. Like it is also the being, it is also the seeing of everything that we do, everything that we act on. So he is asking us, are you just the senses? Let's inquire on that. And is it my assumption that yes, he might be happy, whoever is rich, or whoever is being in some state, whoever is having some food or anything, So isn't it my assumption, where in reality I can't stand in the same place of the person and see that he or she or anybody, are they happy? So if we focus here, the sage is trying to tell us that look at those moments or the momentary happiness that you are getting stuck with. And if your path is just to get those momentary happiness, just be cautious, my dear, is what he is saying. Because that momentary happiness is not going to give you much. Yes, it might give you something temporary, but not God. And all the verses of sage here is saying or is directed towards God, love for God. Right? So let's take one step ahead and see in reality and in practical. Right? Because we are talking about God here. And if we have to bring this to our life, to our day-to-day life, how is it possible? Because yes, if you say that absolute, then the mind will not be able to take it up. Like even for me, I'll not be able to just say that, okay, there is one absolute. Whatever you are doing or whatever materialistic things that you are in, that doesn't make sense if we say that, it's not real. It's very, very much unreal. Right? But the absolute is also not unreal. Right? But the absolute cannot, it's unfathomable to the mind, because the mind can stay in space, the mind can stay in time, and it needs structures, it needs some formations. But the God is beyond all of this. So what do we do? And if we focus, the sage has not given the path to this anywhere. Right? Like in any of the verses that we have gone through so far, there is no path that, okay, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then yes, the absolute is reached. He always says that, yes, this love for God and the enquiry is the one which will dissolve this ego. How is that? Let's see. Okay. Let's say that we are doing something, and we are all doing some or the other job, or we are acting upon something, right? Is those actions in the path of God? And when I say in the path of God, like we know it's not that there are many lakhs, thousand crores of probabilities if we go through each and every job, each and every being, each and every situation. Let's not do it. And that's the reason, like even I think the sage also has not given those, because it's not possible that way. The mind can create a new permutation and combination, right? But what we can do is whatever those things that we are doing, that's the reason the action is very important, right? The actions that we are doing, be it in a relationship, be it in a job, be it in society, if that was to reach God, how are we doing it? What is the quality of it? Right? And let's also take the example that the sage has given here and see, like, am I being blind and just going or thinking that, okay, that's a snake, though I kind of know in my heart that, that's a wire, that's a cloth, that's a rope. But still, I'm getting scared that it's a snake. And the example here is of fear. It can be anything else. It can be that jealousy, it can be that money that I want to do, that place that I want to visit. Is that really taking me towards God? Am I getting a step closer to the absolute? Because the absolute is not something that I can catch it, right? We go through step by step by step by step by step, and we don't know when that absolute is reached. Am I in that path? Let us contemplate that. Let's see in our day-to-day life. Because just imagine, for some small thesis, for doing something, or for getting some prize, or say Nobel Prize only, there is so much of hard work required, right? And there is craziness required in that. And we are talking about the highest of the highest thing here. We are talking about reaching God, being with God. Do we have that craziness in our day-to-day life? To reach God? Do we have that love for God? Or are we just revolving around all the rubbish? Let's see, let's inquire, and let's be with the verses of the saint, which will help us to go towards the absolute. That's what he's saying, that thus verily do you enter into dissolution. That means that God is not somewhere else, right? We have wrapped ourselves with so many unrealistic things that God has become so small. It's very difficult to figure out where it is. This ego has become so big, bigger than God, though it says that, God, but dissolve this unrealistic wrapping, become lighter. Yeah, possible, quite possible.